Quick rundown of the card. Jenny Newson looked good. Fernie Garcia a little bit hittable. Lupita Godinez really impressed me. Every round, she just controlled it. Her wrestling looked fantastic. I kind of felt for Connor Losey. She seemed to be limited for options on the floor. I was expecting her to be able to at least instigate some more movement from the bottom position. But Godinez, very, very impressive. Vergara against Rodriguez was an absolute banger and one I will definitely be returning to. Good to see Cortez get back in the win column. A very, very impressive performance there. Clear growth in her game as well, which is something we always want to see. And Fiallo's counter left hook was a thing of beauty. I'm keeping my eye on Fiallo. I didn't think too much. I didn't expect too much of him when he came into the UFC, but the way he settled in his last couple of fights, the way he started to, just kind of, I mean, he's got a pace similar to Tom Breeze, another very good boxer. He kind of hangs out for a little while and he reads his opponent, and he will exchange if they come into his range, but it's like he takes a couple of minutes to read their range. I mean, it took him a little bit longer with Beza. But you're looking at around that 2-minute mark, he starts to settle down and find his shots, and that counter left hook was lovely. Ivanov De is kind of what I expect it to be. Ivanov is just a difficult dude to deal with because he's kind of a wily veteran. He moves well on his feet. He's got decent boxing. He's just a very he's just got very sound fundamentals. But then when you're dealing with someone like De Lima, who throws as hard and as heavy as he does, and I don't know. I mean, he looks in less and less conditioned every time I see him in there, but he's still very problematic. Macy Chasson looked good. I thought her footwork was much better, far more mobile and not quite as easy to read. Norma Dumont, I felt like she kind of started to find her rhythm towards the end of the 15 minutes, which wasn't ideal for her. She needed to make a faster start, but that was difficult because Macy was, her footwork was good. She was constantly changing the range between the two of them, and because she's so tall and rangy, you don't really know when she can reach you. You kind of get used to the length of your own arms, but then when you fight someone taller, you're like, kind of, now my range is all out. And it felt like that for Norma Dumont. And what is going on with Francisco Trinaldo? I mean, he is flying the flag for 40-year-olds, isn't he? Making me feel good about myself. I mean, what is he, 43? He just, I mean, how he didn't stop Danny Roberts is amazing. It's really a testament to Danny Roberts' toughness. But some of the shots he hit him with, even the shots to the body, like rocketing that left hook into the body, you can imagine how under pressure Danny Roberts felt. And I will say there was a small victory for Danny Roberts towards the end of the fight where he pushed back against Francisco Trinaldo. And that is not something I've seen from Danny Roberts before. I know he's tough, and I know he's willing to stay in the fight for as long as it takes. But I find he, well, in my opinion only, he struggles to kind of bring that resurgence in his game towards the end of the rounds. And sometimes it pays off. I mean, against Trinaldo, it just wasn't quite enough. But it is the way it is. And I could quite easily see Trinaldo and Randy Brown throwing down next. No, sorry, was it Randy Brown? Chaos Williams won, didn't it? Hang on a minute, I've got the results up here. Where are we? Yeah, I could quite easily see that those two throwing down next. I mean, it was, Trinaldo's just one of those guys. He's kind of a pest in the division. Doesn't matter who they match him with. He's always going to be problematic because he's tough and he's durable and he's wily. He's been doing this for a long time. So he's 28-8 is his record now. He's a bit of a Glover Teixeira in that sense, where he's got a good foundational game and he's just now confident that he can apply it. And since he's moved up to welterweight as well, I feel like that kind of accentuates his toughness. It accentuates his ability to take a punch. So I mean, you could see him start to move back up the rankings at any point soon. I should pull the rankings up actually. OSP Shogun was kind of a weird one for me. Like, I think anybody that watched the podcast, I talked about the OSP Shogun situation and the fact that Shogun, you can tell he wants to fight, you can tell he loves to fight. You can also tell that the career that he's had has started to, wear on him. He doesn't look the same physical athlete that he used to. And now I'm not speculating as to why, but certainly age is a big part of that drop off. You go back to when he was fighting in Pride in his 20s and he was vicious, and he's always had that edge to his game. All the shoot box guys did. It was kind of the signature of the gym. Shogun's brother Ninja is the same. Vicious, aggressive, got that crazy eyes. I never ever see that from OSP. He's a big athlete. He's got a few weapons that he's quite comfortable with using. Of course, the Von Flue choke, but he never looks comfortable in there to me. And that was just kind of a cagey one because Shogun wants to push forward and wants to fight, but he doesn't have the same kind of pace that he used to. And then every time he steps into range, he's dealing with someone that can take his head off with one really unusually directed punch. Kind of a weird one for me. Like Shogun's got one more fight, he said. That was his second to last fight, and then he's retiring. I'm going to be really interested to see who they match him up with, because I hope it's a favourable matchup in the sense that he's got a really good chance of having a really good performance. and it's not. I mean, that could have been just as bad as the first fight, where, what was the meme, Jamie, where it looked like he slipped on a skateboard. And he run forward and slip on. It was a really odd punch, like circled off, kind of winged around the side. Exactly the same punch almost exactly the same punch that OSP used against Menafield, but that one was a little bit straighter, a little bit more stinging. I don't know. It's a weird one for Shogun. I hope he gets someone that's kind of, around the same stage of their career, if there is such a person.